How's the crash course in the playbook going?
It's been good. Been meeting with Amo a lot, just getting into the building as much as possible and trying to get it all down. It can be challenging, going through all of preseason camp, OTAs, and learning a whole different kind of, I call it a language, and then coming here and picking up a completely different language. But I look at challenges and I look at them and I attack them. So me and Amo, that's what we've been doing these past couple of days, staying in late hours, coming in early hours, and getting after it.
What'd you pick up from A.J. Brown those training sessions?
What was that?
What'd you pick up from A.J. Brown those training sessions?
I would say, the biggest thing is like competing with him. I can't do some of the things that AJ can do. Obviously, he's physically gifted, but any chance I get pushing myself to compete against him, it was fun, and it's good because he's one of the best to do it in this league. So competing with him and stepping up to the plate every single day I come into work, training wise, it was fun, and I looked forward to it every day. He pushed me, I pushed him, so it was cool.
He said he reached out to his trainer to get into those sessions. Yeah. Why'd you do that, and how'd that come about?
Yeah, I mean, a couple years back, I went down there and I was training with Coach Joey, and AJ he had a relationship with him. He coached him in in college. But yeah, I saw AJ in there one day, and after a couple weeks, we kind of started to work out together a little bit, and then this past year we were really working out together, really running together, pushing each other, competing with each other. So I guess as time went on, it kind of built it up to us really competing with each other and working out with each other.
Jahan, what's it like being home and being able to play in this area for the first time in your career, and also to be with Saquon, who you know from Lehigh Valley since high school? Yeah,
it's really cool. In so many aspects, I feel like my family, super close. They can come to games whenever. And then I feel like the Lehigh Valley has done me so well, and they've supported me all throughout Little League, high school. So being so close to them, they can get to games, really cool. And then, I feel like for me, this is like really cliche, but Pennsylvania has never done me wrong. I came here, I excelled in Little League, high school, went to college here. So being back here is kind of refreshing a little bit. And being back home is always fun. I truly love being around here in the atmosphere. So yeah, I'm ready to put on for the green and white.
As a follow-up to that, what do you recall about when Saquon was at Whitehall, before he was at Penn State, when he was at Whitehall?
Yeah, I played Saquon my freshman year of high school, his senior year at Whitehall. They beat us pretty bad. He looked like an NFL running back in his senior year of high school, which was crazy. But it was pretty cool, and we kind of built the relationship from there. Him going to Penn State, me going to Penn State. We communicated throughout that. And then, our battles through NFC division games was pretty cool. Seeing him put on from the sideline and then me doing my thing. Just knowing that, we were two people who kind of made it from, a very small area where a lot of people don't make it to this stage. Is really awesome to see, and we're just trying to do our best every single day.
When you were exchange last year, you had, I guess that was last year, the jersey exchange where you guys wrote each other messages. What was your message to him that day? You remember?
That was 2 years ago, my rookie year. But yeah, just representing the 610, and just putting on. That's really what we're doing. Putting on for where we come from, because like I said, it's such a small community, and a lot of people don't get this opportunity.
That high school game when you said you looked like an NFL running back, is there anything specific you remember?
No, he got killed, so I try to forget those times, but yeah, it was pretty cool to just compete with him, and yeah.
Jahan, it's early, but how do you feel this offense highlights your strengths?
Yeah, you started with a great point. It's early. Right now I'm just trying to figure out my role in this offense. really learning the playbook is my biggest thing right now. We still have a good amount of time till week 1. So making sure that I'm comfortable in the playbook and making sure that I'm able to play fast as possible. That's my biggest focus right now.
Aside from your time with Aaron,
Beyond the playbook and, you look at film and see, what placement you might have on the field, do you also, in terms of teams and their analytics, do you take that into your approach? Do you look at what you, like, take that kind of information and see how it might apply to you?
Yeah, that's a week-to-week thing, game planning, with the different teams that we're going to face, the different corners we're going to see. But yeah, right now I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing on each and every play. That's really my main focus right now. And then, the game planning, it comes week to week, like I said. And knowing your opponent, that's a big thing, knowing what the other guy across from you likes to do, how you can attack him. So that's things that I'm going to get into on a week-to-week basis. But right now, I'm just focusing on playing fast. And
We'll do a couple more. We'll get DeVonta in.
aside from that extra time with Aaron Moorhead, what else have you done? Like, what's been your process to learn this playbook?
Sticking in it as long as possible, being in it day in and day out. Even when I go home, it doesn't stop. Just so I can be comfortable when I'm on the field, and I can play as fast as possible. Getting those hours in with AMO is big for me, just because I'm so behind in the learning curve. But it's not only the time that I'm in here; it's when I go home. I gotta put it on myself to really prepare and make sure that I'm good when I get in here.
It's only been a few days, but what have you learned about Jalen Hurts, in this short period that maybe you didn't notice when you were in Washington?
He's a leader, and he has a lot of weapons around him. We know he's gonna make good decisions. But yeah, building a relationship with him is big, just because he is the guy who's gonna be leading us this year. So yeah, every chance I get to build that relationship, I'm gonna do so, and continue to try to be more comfortable with him. Make sure that I know where he wants me to be on certain plays, and different things like that. So building the relationship, I feel like, is the biggest key for me throughout these couple weeks.
Speaking of the other day, Howie referenced the amount of work they did on you coming out of the draft. A, what do you remember from that? And B, the Eagles were in that range before trading for AJ. Did you think coming here out of the draft was a possibility?
I had no idea, honestly. When it comes to the draft, you honestly have no idea where you're going to go. You just got to be prepared for everything. So, I heard talks about maybe coming back home, but, different things happen. But, yeah, I was ready for any outcome that came about.
Okay, thanks, Zach. You got DeVonta here.
Hey, DeVonta.
What do you think of the addition here with Jahan, adding him to the receiving corps?
I think it's a great addition. Me personally, I've always been a big fan of him. Studied his college tape, studied what he's done past 2 years. Always been a big fan. I think it's going to be a nice addition to the room.
Why were you a fan? What stood out about him, would you say?
So my first time watching him was in college when we were playing Ohio State in the Natty. I know he played against him, so I was studying some of the corners over there, and he just popped out on the tape. And ever since then, I've been a fan. So just the way that he runs routes, the releases he does, and things like that, I feel like we're kind of similar.
AJ said that, he has an opportunity ahead of him because of the attention that you guys get. He spoke to his experiences, hearing what the defense says for him. Over the past couple of years, what is it that you hear when they see, how they dedicate to you on the field?
I think it just depends on who you're playing. You have some teams that have guys that feel like they can put one-on-one with us and they just play their defense regularly versus, a team that kind of adds a little more attention to us. And I think week in, week out, that changes. But I think it's going to be hard for a lot of teams with the addition of Saquon, with Jahan, and all the other weapons that we have. That if you just try to zero in on, one person, we have plenty of other guys that can make plays.
He's come to your softball game. How did that come about, and did you get to know him well in those interactions?
Knowing that he was from the area, I feel like that was a big part of it. Him being from the area, just inviting somebody that's been around there, somebody that has ties to it.
With 3 softball games there, are you now an honorary Lehigh Valley guy, in addition to Saquon and Jahan?
Yeah, for sure.
What's your vision of this offense right now and what it's going to be when you guys get on the field on Friday? Do you have a feel for that?
Nah, not really. You kind of have to get into the groove of, the game plan and things like that. As right now, we haven't done that yet. We haven't, dug into the game plan. So I feel like when we get there, then I kind of have a clue. But as of right now, we're still in the phase where we're focused on ourselves, still trying to make every individual get better.
We saw you this summer line up inside quite a bit. In this offense, is there an opportunity for you to really succeed in that role?
Like I said, I think it just depends on the game plan, depend on who we're playing. Ultimately, that's up to the coaches. So, kind of won't know until the game plan comes out.
Do you like being in there?
I'll be anywhere. It doesn't matter to me.
How much are you looking forward to kind of like showing everybody what this offense can do? I mean, like none of you guys have really played at all during the preseason games. Your first game is going to be next week in Brazil. Like, how much is that exciting for you?
I don't think it's just showing everybody else. I think it's just, proving to ourselves the work that we've done the past month, coming out here grinding every day with each other. The work that we've put in, the time that we've put in, watching film with each other, helping each other out, whether it's, running routes, quarterback in the low line with protections and things like that. I think it's more so just helping each other out and just being excited for each other that we get to go out there and do this together.
Do you anticipate that this is maybe the most movement that you'll have since Alabama? Obviously, that was useful for you.
We'll see. We'll see. Getting out there and practice is one thing, but like I said, going to the game plan, different teams and things like that, that may not be the case for some teams.
Are there more option routes in this offense?
I feel like option route is something that we've always done. Definitely something that we've always done. But like I said, I can't really just pinpoint it until we get there.
Therefore, I mean, whether there is or isn't. Late last season, there was a couple of games where I think you talked about the communication issues that maybe between quarterback and receiver. How much have you guys had to hone that in light of also having a new offense?
I think it's more of a when it happens, because you can just sit there and talk about, oh, we need to communicate, we need to do this, but it's more so you have to be in that moment, in that situation. So we can have talks outside of on the field, in the building, things like that about, oh, we need to communicate better. It takes place when it's on the field. So I feel like we've been doing good, adjusting on the fly. When things did come up in camp, I feel like we communicated well, but that only happens when things come up. So as they come up, we will handle it as so.
DeVonta, Britton was talking about you yesterday. As a smaller receiver, he seems to try to look at you and your success. How's that relationship progressed over the years with him?
It's great. We joke all the time about, being probably, well, for sure, being the smallest guys on the team. He probably weighs a little more than me, so I consider myself the smallest guy. But we joke all the time about that. He's a phenomenal person, phenomenal player. Just the relationship, it's more than just football. What is us talking about, the kids and things like that or anything else. He's the light of the room. In the room, he's the guy that's always keeping the spirits up. No matter if anybody's having a bad day, he's going to be the guy to always make sure that everybody in the room is having fun, that whoever it is that may be down a day, that he doesn't continue to let them feel that way.
DeVonta, what are your thoughts on playing in Brazil, going quite a distance to play your...
Say it again?
What are your thoughts on playing in Brazil, going this great distance to play a game?
No comment.
Really? Not excited? You're not?
It's football. Just line up.
Okay, thanks, DeVonta. We'll get in there.
AJ?
Right.
AJ, what do you think of the addition of Jahan Dotson?
Man, it's a great addition. This is someone that I train with in the off season, so I'm very familiar with, and just to take the off season and bring it into our room now, it helps out a lot. You know what I'm saying? So.
From that time you've trained with him, what's some insight you can give us on him off the field and maybe what he can provide on the field?
First of all, he's a great person. He's a great person. I don't let people train with me, honestly, and I let him train with me. So I should tell you everything you need to know.
How does that come together, that training relationship?
He reached out to my trainer, and my trainer asked me. So, like, it's a one-on-one thing with my trainer, and he reached out to my trainer. He trained, and of course, and like I said, he's a great person, and he works extremely hard. To answer your question, man, he's a great route runner, great a hard worker. So that's honestly that's all I care about. He's a hard worker.
So you didn't know him, you didn't really know him beforehand or anything until like his trainer reached out to you?
I was a fan of him from afar, and when I put two and two together, they told me who he was. I was like, oh yeah.
What did you like about him before you met him and now?
Yeah, just going against him in Washington, man, he will always make some good plays, and he runs some really good routes, and he was still early on in his career, and you could still see like he was developing and still learning the game, and so when my trainer told me, he was like, "That's Jahan from Washington," I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah," and then it just kind of progressed from there.
How competitive were those training sessions, AJ?
It was always competitive, like I said, he works hard, so, that's my training session, so, of course, I'm trying to outdo him. So, just to get better, most importantly, so.
How are you
that he has here, AJ, over the past couple of years when you and DeVonta are on the field together, and you guys are in 11, like how much attention do you guys get, and how much of an opportunity is that potentially for Jahan?
He has a big opportunity in front of him. I'm not going to put too much on his plate, but he does. And I can tell you guys, when I line up, I know they're yelling out 11 in the slot, 11 outside, and most of the time I'm getting coverage rotated to me, most importantly. And, Smitty has his one-on-one matchups, and I don't know how they do with Smitty, so I don't get to speak for myself, but I know they account for Smitty as well. So when you look up, I'm going to say you're not really worried about them, but they're probably not going to put their best guy over there.
They can only do so much.
They only can do so much, and, it's very rare that certain teams probably have three really, really good DBs. And so he has a big opportunity in front of him he has mismatches all day, and, and I hope he maximizes those mismatches.
What do you think is going to be most different about this offense?
Was it the difference?
What's going to be different than your first 2 years? And why do you think it's going to be different?
I can't answer that because we haven't played yet, so I really don't know.
You've seen training camp.
Yeah, but that's camp though. I honestly feel like nobody knows how this team's gonna play until we play against somebody else, and it's a real game. You want to see how guys react. You don't know how the game's gonna get called. You don't know. We got new offensive coordinator, so you just don't know. And so it's still early. Yes, we done some great things in camp. That's camp, But they're blowing the whistle. Nobody's getting tackled. Stuff like that. You gotta put all that into one. So
going back to what you hear pre-snap, defensive backs trying to figure out where you're lined up. How much of an advantage is it that Jahan can play inside out? Having three guys who can all play from different alignments.
Just having guys just can go inside and outside helps the offense out a lot. Because I can tell you guys, going against 55 on the outside, and that's not fun in my world, honestly. But to have guys that can change with you and you moving in motion and doing those type of things, and it helps out everybody. So.
AJ, Tanner McKee told us a story earlier this summer that last year he found out he spent time in Brazil, and you were asking him a lot of questions about Brazil, Portuguese, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Hey, where did that curiosity come about, and have you focused on Portuguese at all, or tried to learn any Portuguese?
No, because we had a meeting yesterday, and it was like a whole bunch of don't do's, and so I'm just trying to go down there, win a football game, and come back home. That's the best way I can put it.
Remember though, with
Yeah. It's me talking to him and asking a lot of questions. That was my first initial thought. But after hearing all this stuff, I'm probably gonna be in my room.
AJ, how do you kind of balance, the fact that you guys are going to Brazil and it's this great opportunity to grow the game, with also the fact that you're playing the Packers, it's your first game and everything, and you got to be focused on that. I mean, is that tough to do, or how do you handle it?
No, it shouldn't be tough to do. We're professionals. This isn't my first game, but it is my first game out of the country. So you just gotta put all that into a factor and just try to navigate through that the best way you can. And ultimately, what we down there to do. We down there to win a football game.
What were you told not to do?
We're not down there to see the city, do all this other stuff. This is not a vacation. This is it's a football game. That's
What were you told not to do?
a lot, honestly. Honestly, things that we would normally do here, even simple as just walking down the street with your phone in your hand and stuff like that, which is kind of crazy. So it's all right.
Last one, please.
You look at Jahan, and Britton kind of said that you guys didn't really run any plays for your third receiver last year. What kind of opportunity will that kind of reality present for Jahan, and how different will that look based on his skill set and his ability to not being covered the same way you guys are?
I didn't hear the first part.
Britton said you guys didn't really run any plays for your third wide receiver. You don't do that, and obviously you've got some.
That ain't really
ahead
true.
Of Jahan. What kind of opportunity does that present for Jahan?
Like I said, everybody is keying in on us. Every pre-snap, what we're doing. So, like I said earlier, he has a big opportunity in front of him because guys are they're not just worried about him. He's not the focal point, and that's not a bad thing. It's a perception thing. You can look at it two ways. I'm not the focal point, or he was like, I have a huge opportunity. They're not worried about me. I can make them worried about me. And so, I think he's taking that approach. And like I said, he's been working extremely hard, putting in a whole bunch of overtime, learning this offense as quickly as possible. He has a big opportunity in front of him. So.
Thanks, guys.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, AJ.
What's up, guys?
Hey, Nick, what was cut down day like for you when you got word, or I guess, I don't know if you got word, or when you got cut and then you got brought back? What was that like?
Yeah, it was the first time it's kind of happened to me, and I've been through that process. But they were upfront with what they were going to do with me and how they were going to go about it. So, yeah, I knew it was going to happen when they did it. So.
Did they tell you they wanted you to come back?
Yeah, they did. They said back on practice squad.
Nick, when you signed here, did you feel like you were behind the eight ball because you started a little later?
Maybe a little bit in the learning the playbook and stuff, but they did a really good job with getting me on track and getting me caught up to speed real fast with that. So I feel like I didn't feel too far behind the eight ball, for too long.
Are you going to take reps at center now? That's been any discussion about that?
Yeah, they've been repping me at the inside three the whole camp, and they've been doing that the whole time. So. Yeah, and it's been my job the last 3 years is, playing the inside three. So, always stay ready for no matter what.
Nick, you've been in other places. Stout's got such a great reputation. What have been your first impressions of him?
Oh, Stout's a great coach. He coaches you hard, but he loves you too, and he's done a good job. And you can see it on film how well he coaches the guys, and that's always jumped off the film. Being within the division, seeing those guys, they always play so well and do a really good job, and I'm excited to be here and be able to learn from him.
When there's that many new guys on the interior, a mix, veterans and rookies, all y'all are trying to find your place. What is that relationship like whenever y'all are interacting? I mean, even off the field.
Yeah, I feel like it's the same. Rookie or vet. Yeah, they've been through it. It's not like it's their first rodeo come through the college. It's similar, but. They just, as long as they understand the game and, know what they're supposed to do, and, it's pretty easy. So you just got to build relationships with each other on and off the field, and I think that helps.
Nick, what's it like blocking for Saquon Barkley since you've had that experience before?
Oh, yeah, no, it's Saquon's awesome to block for. You give him just a little tiny hole, and he could hit it, and he could be out the front door and, be gone. And even if you mess up a play, he could, turn it into a big play for you, and it's awesome. I love blocking for Saquon. And love Saquon as a human and a person. He's a good teammate too. He's an awesome player, an awesome person.
I'm sorry. What was your first thought when you saw that he signed with Philly?
I was so happy for him. I was like, it's finally now he has a good offensive line and good guys that he can run behind.
Nick, in camp, we saw you rep at guard and at center, mostly at guard. What's your comfort level at center right now?
Yeah, I've played the inside three my whole whole career. So, whatever they see me as fit, I'm ready to play wherever they want me to play.
What kind of prep have you guys gotten about what Brazil's going to be like? What have you learned to this point? Kind of.
Yeah, they just told us to kind of just stay in the hotel and stay in that area. But we're there to play a football game, and that's kind of what they hinted at. So we're there for I think 2 days and business trip. So we go in, hopefully get a win and come home.
Nick, what did you learn from Jahan being his teammate in Washington?
Oh, he's an awesome dude, and he works hard. He's willing to do whatever, and a good locker room guy. So it's really good person. He's awesome.
In your hand, why no gloves or tape on your hands?
I just never really wore gloves, and then last year I stopped wearing tape, and I just kind of liked it. So I just kind of stuck, and it used to be a tough guy thing, and then I was like back in college, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna wear the gloves, be a tough guy, but now it's just like just what I've gotten used to and what I like, and I feel like I can feel the jersey more and be able to grab easier with it without my gloves.
From a center perspective, if you're snapping, is there any difference there?
What do you mean?
Without the gloves,
Yeah, I mean, I've never wore gloves as my snap. When I started to play center, I never wore it on my snap hand, so I always felt it was not being able to feel the ball was kind of a thing. But even before that, I didn't wear gloves.
What about the rolled-up jersey? I guess what made you settle on that?
See, I've always done that ever since high school. You can look up pictures online of my high school, coming out to games and stuff. I've always had the roll-up, jersey, and I never wore a shirt underneath my pads and stuff. So it's just kind of always been my look, and I always kind of liked it.
You've gone, I think you went overseas with the Giants once, played in London.
Yes, sir.
How is that different from what you guys are doing in Brazil? Is it more of a business trip in this case, just because you're not there as long?
Yeah, I think the same thing. We were only there for a couple days too. I think we left. I can't remember, but yeah, we were only there quick. But if any of these trips, they're business trips. We're there when we're there for football and win the football game. So that's it's a business trip no matter what you look at it.
Have you been working on your snaps more? Have you been practicing more your snaps?
Yeah, but I practice them. Try to do every day. Get a couple snaps with the quarterbacks. Even when I wasn't getting reps in camp at center as much at the beginning, I was just getting snaps and just working on them. And it's something I know it's part of my job. It's going to be keep me around as working on the inside three. So I gotta do as much as I can.
What led to your decision to sign with the Eagles, and were there other options?
No, there wasn't any other options at that time until right before. But the Eagles are a good team and a good organization. I've only heard good things about it, so I'm excited to be here and excited to be with the team.
Couple more, please. Did you find Jalen likes the snap a certain way compared to maybe some other quarterbacks?
Yeah, I haven't got to work with Jalen yet on the snapping and stuff, but I think quarterbacks like the ball right in their chest, so I don't think it matters who it is, but I think they like it so they keep their eyes downfield and could do their job.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.